Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another review. And taking a look at what I've come to find out is the penultimate wave of Age of Extinction Power Battlers. This is Dinobot Slug. I just want to mention right off the bat, anybody notice how in the one-step line and in the Power Battlers line, they've somehow managed to not release all the Dinobots? You have a few in the one-step line that aren't in the Power Battlers line, and vice versa. I think it's kind of interesting. Maybe it's to build scale, or maybe it's to get you to buy both lines. Anyway, this is Slug, and I gotta say, this looks very close to the deluxe figure, but it's a little smaller. But as you'll see in robot mode, it's pretty, almost as tall as the deluxe version of the figure. Coloring is pretty spot on and close to, if not exactly the same as the deluxe figure. Obviously, it's not what was in the movie, but there's no real articulation here. But then again, there's no real articulation in deluxe version. It does have a gimmick in robot mode, which we'll get to. But other than that, yeah, it's a fun little figure. You can move the tail a little, but that's really for transformation, and kind of looks odd with that gap right there. So that's pretty much it for dinosaur mode. Let's get to the transformation. I've mentioned this before, but the instructions on the back of the packaging aren't always the most clear, nor do they best show the proper number of steps. Sometimes they'll combine two into one because, hey, we all have four hands, right? No. First thing what you want to do is go ahead, flip that tail up, or you can do it last, it's whenever you feel like it. Next, what you want to do is turn the dinosaur over, and here's where things get interesting. You can see these gray clips connecting to blue soft plastic weapons, and if you see the packaging, you'll know that's part of the gimmick. Basically, what you're going to do is rotate these clips up while flipping out the weapons, and rotating them up with molded in hands. Now, there is something I want to point out, and I am going to show it to you right now. And let's see if I can do this, but it is the pins that how these hard gray plastic clips are connected to the weapons, and it's by a pin. Now, I think what happened on mine is some of this soft plastic got ground into the hole of the pin, and as maybe you can see ever so slightly, there's a bit of a stress mark. This has actually already started to tear. It is very difficult to rotate these down into proper position. You usually end up bending or tearing the plastic. You can see there's a little flash right there. I'm not sure if that's coming up, but instead of rotating it on the pin, what I suggest is grabbing it as close to that hinge as possible and rotating it from there. But again, that may not be, perfect. And so just be wary that you're bending the joint and not bending the actual weapon hand bit and risking tearing the soft plastic. Okay? Now, moving back to the transformation. What you want to go ahead and do is rotate the legs out from the side and bring them down. Just like so. It's actually not as gappy on the side as you would think. In fact, I think no, there's no hinge, so, okay, so, and they do peg in to this tail section here, which is actually part of the gimmick for the action gimmick, I should say. Careful, that's when you hear that kind of snapping noise, that means you're popping gears, but it's nothing's breaking. Finally, what you want to do is go ahead, split the head open, and then rotate that the sides are on swivel joints, and go ahead, bring that down, And here you have a Dinobot Slug in robot mode. As I mentioned earlier, Dinobot Slug, like most of the Power Battlers, does have a action gimmick. Pushing down on the upper part of its tail right here, that folding the tail up actually kind of helps you get a little grip there. And I would say grabbing it by the front cod piece, pressing down will swing the arms, just like so. I do find it interesting he comes with a sword that looks very similar to the swords that the deluxe figure comes with, but then it has a mace. I wonder if the original design was for the figure to have a mace instead of two swords. But as you can see, this is actually kind of fun. Unfortunately, that does negate any and all arm articulation. Uh, but hey, this is really fun, and unlike a lot of the other one-step gimmicks, it really isn't that intrusive. I mean, you can't visibly see the that there's an action gimmick involving the tail. Now, I do want to mention that you do this long enough, the hands might start to swing down, but hey, that's part of it. Like I said, there's no articulation here in the arms, and really all the legs can do is swing forward and back. But I think it's good for what you needed to do. The detailing is fantastic here. I mean, if you take a real good look, um, the head is dead on to the deluxe figure, and it has that nice, I want to say it was a French helmet, knight helmet type of design. Autobot logo right there, silver. You have this gunmetal gray for the chest. I do still like the shoulder armor bits here, pads that were made from the dinosaur head. That blaze orange red around the waist. And then you just have the basic gray for the legs, and that lavender purple down for the legs, which is also here in the arms, and what have you. So all in all, this is I think, a very fun figure. I find myself repeating this one phrase over and over, and that's, by this point, you've probably made your decision about the simplified Transformers. Um, and nothing I can say or do will change your mind. All I can do is present the figure here to you and say, I think this is a fun figure. I mean, yes, it's geared towards children, but I think there's an interesting transformation and a little bit of a fun play value that I think adults and collectors would enjoy. I mean, a toy is a toy, and I think this makes a great desk item. I'm not gonna lie, I never really been into the movie version of the Dinobots, and Slug just never really grabbed me. But I gotta say, this was a real fun figure. So if you see them on shelves, they should be hitting now. I got this particular figure from Big Bad Toy Store, but I know it's available on Amazon for a little bit of a cheaper price. Go ahead, pick it up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And if you're a parent, this will be a great item to give your child at Christmas. This is your old pal Chuck for Dinobot Slug. We'll see you next time.